I've wondered why Arab countries will not take the Palestinian refugees. I'm thinking, what in the name of God is going on? Like, there is a Palestinian state in Jordan. Why is Jordan not taking Palestinians? Why is Egypt not taking Palestinians? I don't understand.
Jordan did, and they tried to overthrow the king and do a coup. So King Hussein in 1974-75 bulldozed 30,000 of them and kicked them out. That's how Lebanon ended up accepting a third wave of Palestinian refugees. We took them when they were kicked out of Jordan. We ended up taking them out of Jordan, and look what they did in Lebanon. In Jordan, they couldn't do it because of the dictatorship of the king, an Islamic king like the Shah of Iran, who had his thumb on them to keep them down. Lebanon, being a republic, open-minded, fair, tolerant, multicultural, Christian. We welcomed them. Do unto others what you want to do, what you want others to do unto you. We take in refugees. None of the Arabic countries wanted to take them anymore. None. Saudi Arabia didn't want them. Jordan no longer want them. They tried to overthrow the king. They destroyed Kuwait. And so the other Arabic countries looked around and they said, why would we want to bring these people over here? So they destroyed Lebanon. These people do not share our values. They were different. They're very violent. They just destroy everywhere they go. And that's exactly after all the fighting with Hamas after October 7th. Rafah, when you look at the gate, at the wall, at the border wall between Egypt and Gaza, Egypt did not want one of them. Egypt would rather watch them all drown in sewage in the tunnels in Gaza by Hamas than accept one of them. Look at Saudi Arabia.
Yes.
Saudi Arabia has tents set up for the Hajj. The Muslims go to Saudi Arabia for the Hajj once a year. Saudi Arabia has tents that can take in 1 million people where they can live in air-conditioned tent. They've got air conditioning, heating, like you are in a 5-star resort. They're already set up, empty. All year long, except for 1 month, the month of Ramadan, the Hajj, when they come to Saudi Arabia. Empty, 11 months. Saudi Arabia could have taken all of them to Saudi Arabia. They speak the Arabic language. They could have put their kids in Islamic schools in Saudi Arabia. They practice Sharia law. It's the same type of weather, but they would not accept them. None of them. So here you have America, Biden importing refugees from Gaza. Why is it our job to import refugees from Gaza? Why doesn't Saudi Arabia take them? They have the space, they have the tents, they have everything set up already. But this is how the West is losing the war. We are reflecting our values on evil people who do not share our values. We do not understand their culture. We do not understand Islam. We do not understand what the word fath means. America, the Westerners are clueless about Islam. And so this is how we are losing the war.
Okay, so I mentioned my wife had lived in Kuwait for 3 years, and she was saying that they actually have a very, like a see something, say something. They look out for radical Islamists because they will commit acts of terror on other Muslims. And I didn't understand that. It didn't make sense to me. All I knew is there was the Sunni and the Shia. But then I learned that the Muslim Brotherhood was labeled as a terror organization in Saudi Arabia and the UAE, and they put a blockade on Qatar. I think in 2017, I interviewed a woman named Franny Block, who was investigating how much money Qatar had poured into lobbying here in America. And she was explaining to me that they had put this blockade on Qatar because Qatar refused to label the Muslim Brotherhood as a terror organization. So one more thing I want to throw out there. I recently read, I think this was in the UAE, they were saying that they will not fund or send their students to the West for an education because they're worried that they'll get radicalized in the Western world. So What do these Arab nations understand? Because they're Muslim, that the West doesn't understand. I'm like, Muslim, what's the difference?
The Arabic world understands this. I knew we were going to talk about this, so I'm prepared. Here is the Muslim Brotherhood plan for North America. This is It's in Arabic and it's in English. This is the version presented by our government. You see the number, the government number on the bottom. It was presented as evidence in the largest terrorism financing trial in the history of our country, where our government sued the Holy Land Foundation in Dallas, Texas in 2007, 2008, and handed down 108 guilty verdicts to Muslim American and Muslim American organizations raising money in the United States to the tune of over 12 million raised in 150 and $160 segments, which is the price of a suicide belt for a suicide bomber. So here is the plan. It's in Arabic and it's in English. And I'm going to share. So this is fact. We're not talking opinion. So it starts with that. Here it is in the English version. So we start on this page with the English version. On this page is when they start talking about the Muslim Brotherhood plan for North America. And it says, and I'm going to read you a paragraph. Here it is highlighted in yellow. Understanding the role of the Muslim Brother in North America. The process of settlement is a civilization jihadist process with all the word means. The Ikhwan, which is the Arabic word for brothers, must understand that their work in America is a kind of grand jihad in eliminating and destroying the Western civilization from within and sabotaging, and they put that under parentheses, its miserable house by their hands and the hands of the believers, so that it is eliminated and Allah's religion is made victorious over all other religions. As you can see, they don't mince words. They're not beating around the bush. This is evidence. This is facts. This is not opinion. On the second page, I'm going to read you just a little bit. It says, the success of the movement in America in establishing an Islamic base with power and effectiveness will be the best support and aid to the global movement project. They have a 100-year global plan to infiltrate and dominate and bring down the West. They are now 35 years into their plan. And what are we doing? Nothing. We are burying our head in the sand, pretending the problem did not exist. They talk about how they are building segments to infiltrate our society, all our society. In this plan, they talk about, for example, creating this whole page is lists of all the organizations they want to create. The women's organization, an economic organization, youth organization, social organization, the security organization, political organization, judicial organization, the media and art organization, the intellectual and cultural organization, scientific, educational, and professional organization, the Islamic American Founding Conference, the Shura Council for the Islamic American Movement. These are the consultants for Obama, by the way. The Executive Office of the Islamic American Movement, Chairman of the Islamic Movement and its official spokesperson, field leaders and organization and Islamic centers. By the way, right now, we have 3,500 mosques and Islamic centers all throughout the United States. But the most important page of this is the last page. On this page, they list 29 front Islamic organizations set up in America with the sole purpose of destroying America from within. And I'm going to start. Number one on the list. Here we go. And here's the title. A list of our organizations and the organizations of our friends. Number one, ISNA, Islamic Society of North America. Islamic Society of North America were advisors to President Obama about Middle East policy. So not only we had the Fox watching the hen house, we had the Fox inside the White House talking policy in the ear of the president. This is exactly why when Obama delivered his speech in Egypt, remember his first famous speech to the Arabic world, to the Islamic world, he went to Egypt. And contrary to Mubarak, at that time the president of Egypt, who was against the Muslim Brotherhood, Obama goes behind and around and on top of the president of Egypt, Mubarak, and brings in the Muslim Brotherhood and gives them the two front seats in front of his speech when he was there. So, number two on the list is the Muslim Student Association. The Muslim Student Association has more chapters on American college campuses than the Democrats and the Republicans combined. And this is exactly why when after October 7th and you saw all these people, the students demonstrating on college campuses, where do you think they came from? The Muslim Student Association has been working college campuses for years. Actually, they set it up in 1964 in the United States, the first Muslim Student Association. Right now, they are Goliath. Right now, they gave us Mamdani. Remember,
Yes.
Mamdani was involved with the Muslim Student Association. And I can go down the list. Let's see. We've got the Islamic Medical Association, the Association of Muslim Scientists and Engineers, etc. NATE, the North Islamic American Trust, which owns the deed to the majority of mosques in the United States. Number 22 on the list is IAP, Islamic Association for Palestine, which later became CARE, Council on American Islamic Relations, because they wanted a name that doesn't show that they are supporters of Hamas, etc. This is fact. This is not Brigitte Gabriel's opinion. This is not Jillian's opinion. This is not Islamophobes making things up. Now, the radicals can say anything they want. By the way, this plan is available right now. We have a promotion on our website, actforamerica.org. Go to our website. My organization, we are the largest grassroots movement in America, standing up to fight to preserve our culture, our security, and our values. By the way, when we talk about these issues and people call us Islamophobes, I don't give a fly who thinks I'm an Islamophobe. Our job right now is protect our country from an enemy determined to destroy us. And who calls us Islamophobes? CARE, the Council on American Islamic Relations, the SPLC, who works with CARE, the ACLU, which basically became the legal arm of CARE. So the leftists and the Islamists right now are coming together, working together. The left is being used as the useful idiots at the hand of Islamists with an agenda. All these organizations in the United States, all 22 of them, working against us. This is why the UAE, all these Islamic countries, understand what the Muslim Brotherhood is doing in the West. Now, it's no skin off their back because, hey, if they want to spread Islam, they're not a threat to us. We ban them over here. We can continue our fiefdom. We can continue our kingdom. If they want the West to fall, that's fine with us. We don't care. But we should care. We are Westerners. We are talking about your future, my future, our children's future. This is our country. These are our countries in the West, countries that are founded on Judeo-Christian value system. Australia, Canada, America, France, England, all of Europe. We are seeing the demise of Europe before our very eyes. And I've been talking about this. People have been writing about this. This is nothing new. It's not like we did not know. This was written in the 80s. They wrote it, and the 1991 the North American version was written. This is for North America. I write about this stuff. When I wrote about this stuff in 2008, my book They Must Be Stopped came out. This book, Why We Must Defeat Radical Islam and How We Can Do It, talks about the Muslim Brotherhood project in detail. A whole book, their plan. And I go in detail into Europe, to America, and to what's happening in Israel, the Middle East. People did not want to listen. We've been talking about this for 25 years. So when you look at the Muslim Brotherhood plan right now, they are 35 years into their plan. And it is working because people in the West are refusing to listen.
I don't understand personally, what is the difference between Islam and radical Islam? What turns somebody into radical Islam? How do you get from Jordan or the UAE or Dubai to Iran?
The more devout they are and adherent to the Islamic ideology, the more radical they are. They are wonderful Muslims in the West. They are wonderful Muslims in the Middle East who do not want to kill anybody. They practice the spiritual side of Islam, which is great. Everybody loves practicing some form of a spiritual connection to the greater creator of this universe, whether you call him Allah, whether you call him God, Jesus, Yahweh, superpower, infinite intelligence, the universe, whatever you call it. A lot of people acknowledge there is something that is beyond our
Yes,
understanding
100%.
and the greater world. However you define it for yourself, okay? So we all have that, and it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful to acknowledge that we are a small part of something so much bigger than ourselves, and we live good lives, and we love other people, and we try to be good to other people, and we try not to commit sin, not to murder people, to live an honest life, not cheat, not lie, not steal, not cause harm to others. Most people have this element of goodness in them. And a lot of Muslims in the world do that. I mean, look how many Muslims in America who are black Muslims who adhere to the Islamic religion have never read the Quran, do not know how to read it in Arabic. They do not want to commit attacks against anybody. They just love the structure of their religion. It gives them structure, it gives them spirituality, and they love it. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have a lot of friends who are Muslim. Of course, I come from the Middle East.
Yeah.
So I have wonderful friends. I love the Middle Eastern culture. I miss my home country of Lebanon. I love Lebanon. I'm a first generation immigrant. I came on the TWA. I love this country. I only have one country in the world, and that's the United States of America, not Lebanon. I may have been born in Lebanon. I may have been shaped by my upbringing in Lebanon, but I am an American citizen, not American Lebanese, not Italian, not American Italian, nothing. We in America need to get back to the bases. We are Americans and nothing but Americans. And this is the spirit that we need to have back in this country. And that's why we fight so hard to protect and preserve this country, because we know what we left. If it was any good, if our countries were so hot, we under Islam. Islam does not speak of forgiveness. Islam speaks of killing, a commandment from the Quran, a commandment. The 9th surah, Surah 9 in the Quran, is all about killing the infidels. It's all about killing your enemies. Cut off their heads and smite off their fingers and toes because they disobeyed Allah. It's all about killing your enemy, not forgiving your enemy. And if your enemy doesn't want to listen to you, you make them dhimmi. They live under your submission. You're allowed to rape them. You're allowed to take them as booty. The most glamorized thing in the Middle East is called revenge, al-tha'r in Arabic. So you have to revenge or avenge those who did something to you. So while we teach our children to forgive, they teach their children to never forget and never forgive. And this is why the Palestinians who have gone outside, they were driven out as refugees in 1948, who have been living, born in the United States 2 generations over, lived here for years. Their grandchildren are Americans, yet they still tell you, here's the key to my house in Jerusalem when Israel drove me out. They still hold the key to the house. And how can you heal that? You cannot heal that.
If you have a 401k or an IRA, please listen. Gold is at record highs. What many people don't know is this: you can move part of your retirement money legally and without tax penalties into physical gold you actually own. Alpha Omega Gold helps you do this through a gold IRA. Your gold is real. It is stored safely. It is in your name. Learn more at ao.gold/stand. Alpha Omega Gold is our sponsor, and they proudly stand with Israel.